What's going on, fam? We are back to Pyre. At dawn, Volfred is already up. He reveals to you a pathway through the woods, into the cold lands to the north, beyond which lies your next destination. Okay. Oh, that looks cool. You get clear of the woods at last and arrive in lands grown cold in the shadow of Mount Elodial. You will have to make it all the way to the top. In a moment of respite, Volfred calls everyone together to discuss matters pertaining to the rites and the plan at which he alluded. You band in together with a common faith that freedom from the downside is not impossible, am I correct? But let me ask you something. What does freedom even mean to you? He looks in your direction as he asks, defying you to answer. You cannot sense his own thoughts on the subject, and only know the truth of how you feel. Yeah. You tell Volfred that freedom means having the ability and means to go where you please, when you please. The opposite of being cast into exile and forced to chase the stars. He considers your remarks for a short while. Borders and boundaries exist not to limit freedom, but to protect them. Though perhaps this is debatable. Admittedly, we are not very free here in our exile, where the elements, if not the stars, conspire to prevent us from going where we please. Yet, if following the stars should lead us to an even greater freedom, then I should like to think we are making a worthwhile trade. He then turns his attention to the whole group. Now, let me tell you all what freedom means to me. Freedom means to live life without fear. To be able to indulge one's curiosities and passions, at least the ones that cause no harm to others, without the constant threat of judgment and reprisal. Freedom means not being made a criminal for what you know, or whom you love, or what you choose to think or not think. He looks out towards the distant mountains. Within the next few days, your time in exile could come to an end. You could see the Commonwealth once more, and you would be exalted there, given the highest honor, the opposite of how you got here. But you would not be truly free, I think. At least you would become complicit to an ancient system that would deign to cast down others such as you. It is a system whose well-intentioned founding principles have been lost, and the 8 scribes, if they are still out there, have made quite clear that they should not intervene firsthand. That is where you come in. He turns to you and everyone again, looking at each of you. Long have I wished to gather such a group, that together you might see that seeking freedom only for yourselves is too modest of a goal. You share a higher calling now. The plan, then, is this. We free each other from the downside through the rites. Then we meet up on the other side. We organize. Each new moon at dusk, we join together at the Spiral Sanctum. We need as many of us there as possible. My agents on the other side shall explain the rest. You're plotting a revolt. Just so. I am asking a lot. You do have other options. Deceit, however, is not one of them. The reader and myself, you know by now, that we can see through it. But you need not be a part of this, nor is it in my interest to coerce you. You may go your own way if you wish. Leave out your remaining days here. Live out your remaining days here, like so many others. So if anyone among you prefers that, if you cannot see yourself continuing to strive together to the Commonwealth, as you are doing here, then speak now. Volfred pauses for a time, examining each member of the group. No one stirs. Very good. Some of you consider yourself friends, some others not. But all of you are bound together through the rites, and are integral to our plan. Remember that. You seek true freedom? You will not find it waiting for you in the Commonwealth. But together you can bring it about, both for yourselves and others. That is my promise. Then he lets out a long breath. That's it. I ask you all to think on this, and let's reconvene along our journey to the summit. Wolf returns towards the mountains, leaving you to consider what he said, and plot the wagon's northward path. Okay. Revolution. Sounds nice. Oh, stop it. Beyond lies Mount Lodil. I suggest we make camp here at the base of the mountain, for we shall need our spirits and our strength to make the ascent. Discuss the plan. The Beyonder. Ooh, Tizo. Gimme. You have returned, have you? What is it you require? Requests scribe trial. Wow, scribe trial. Then who exactly do you have in mind? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're the 8 scribes. You asked Sandra to administer one of her special trials for Tizo. I dare think I remember something of that imp. He certainly stood out from all his ilk, although that really isn't not saying much. Well, let us bring him forth. Tizo soon appears in heat of summons. Tizo seems to be prepared for whatever lies ahead. Let's do it, Tizo. The apparition Sandra appears and unfastens her mask. Listen well, imp. You answer to me here. Tizo indicates his understanding that he is prepared to begin Sandra's trial. You know the formalities, of course. Show me, then, what have you learned from this far about the rites. Here in this trial it shall be just you, my Beyonders, and your lovely reader. Let's see how you fare. Y'all ready to get dunked on? Tizo's my main friend. Oop. Oh. Dang. Oh no. Oh no. You're doing very bad. Come on, Tizo. One more. Got it. Easy. Tizo is excited to complete Sandra's challenge and awaits her approval. A worthwhile effort, imp. Your performance was sufficient and you passed my test. Your predecessor may well have approved. Thus, congratulations are in order. To you and your lovely reader, now farewell. Gimme something. Nothing's going to be as good as what he has. A +8 to speed boost. Unless you give me something better. Tizo is happy to be back and wonders what it is that Sandra gave you. Tizo's flutter and zip abilities cost less stamina than usual, so I can fly longer. Accept the reward. Did I get a new buffet? Nope. I did not. Huh. Oh, here. He seems to have something on his mind. There you are, my kin. There was something which I wanted to discuss with you in private. Fulford stares at you rather intently, as if reaching out to you, and then you do not know what it means to be a reader. Those such as we are not limited to reading pages from a book. though your ability in the I sense is nascent still, mere flashes, uncontrollable. I see as well now that they haven't told you yet, your friends, and that explains a lot. They haven't told you readers such as you cannot go free. I had wondered why you would insist on pressing onward with this group, in light of this. The answer then was plain. You simply did not know, or fully realize. They did not deceive you, by the way. There is no reason they would know themselves other than Tariq, who shall not influence your thinking in such matters. Rather, I have expected, when we first met, that you already knew the truth of this from having read the passages in the Book of Rites which states it plain. Only those who shall conduct the rites firsthand shall walk the path towards enlightenment, and becoming eligible to regain their freedom. Perhaps you had not gotten to that part just yet. Volford breaks free from you and looks at you again. Then he speaks to you as normal. It is plain that you are not in adequate condition to conduct the rites. As this group values you as a reader, I wish only to ensure you understand what you are getting into here. Despite whatever hopes and dreams and promises might have been shared, I do not think the rites can help you to return, if that is what you had in mind. So once again I invite you to depart, and I will see it that you are compensated. Do not misunderstand. If your wish is to remain, then you are welcome. But this journey we are on, it has no guarantees. Not for you, not for any of us. Do you understand? Perhaps there is a way. You understand the words of warning, yet, just the same, you choose to carry on. There is more that you wish to achieve on this journey than freedom for yourself. I admire that, my kin. Then very well. Know that we have much at stake here in this anyway. Much more than just a shot at going back to the Commonwealth, which cast us down here to begin with. It sounds like you intend to stick around. Then we'll have lots more time to chat as we ascend the sacred mountain in the coming days. Until then. Okay. Discuss the plan. Earlier, Volford called the group meeting, presumably to reveal his plan in more detail. Instead, he reveals some bad news. Wait, what are you saying? What I'm saying, my boy, is that while you can indeed get yourself out of here, it can't be all of you at once. We earn our way back one by one, not at all. But I swore that we'd go free together. We may go free together yet, but it's going to take time, and this is only the first phase. You, Hedwin, and the others exchange glances. Let me make this plainer for you still. Here is how the coming days are going to unfold. First, we are going to ascend Mount Alodil, there to the north. You may not think this wagon is fit for it, though rest assured it's made the journey many times. Next, we'll pass through Scribe's Gate. Only the worthy pass through here, as your reader could attest, if they did not merely skim that chapter of the book. Afterwards, we'll reach the Fall of Solium and meet our adversaries in the rites. They are to be the Tempers, led by the demon Ignarius. You'll know him when you see him. Both you and they shall choose somebody from your respective ranks. Then, once one of the triumvirates prevail, their somebody will be whisked home to the Commonwealth. Whisked home to the Commonwealth? Precisely. Once returned, our somebody is taken in and clothed and fully pardoned. The Commonwealth knows all about this? The same Commonwealth that says a sentence into exile is forgiven forever, and freedom from the downside is impossible? Many of these details the scribes themselves wish to be kept secret. Former exiles and the leaders of the Commonwealth alike have good incentive to protect those secrets well. So then, that's it. We climb the mountain, someone goes back, and everyone else stays. For most of those participating in the rites, yes, that's it. But I like your connotation, and indeed for us that isn't it at all. If one of us returns, it shall just be a step along our path. However, let's let that sit for now. Gather your strength, we'll talk again on our way up. Volford leaves the rest of you to consider what he said. You have time for one of your vocations. At dawn, you shall begin the ascent to Mount Alodil. I'm a mentor, a companion. Having gleaned knowledge from the Book of Rites, you can impart some of its teachings. As each exile path towards enlightenment is personal, you will have to mentor them one at a time. Mentor. Fine then, let us chat together for a spell. You illustrate to Pamitha some of the intricacies of the rites, focusing on how all three in a triumvirate can move and act as one of mind. You sense she grasps some of the concepts. Appreciate that bit of insight, reader darling. Okay. Mount Elodial. Can I just select anyone? I kind of want to get rid of, like, one of the people I don't use. Mount Elodial. Here before you lies Mount Elodial, stretching far beyond your line of sight. Somewhere upon this mountain lies the only place from which you can escape the downside. Your companions gather round again before Volfred, who stands tall as ever, whether from the cold air or the subject now at hand. You sense a tension in the air. Now then, you all have many questions. No, I've done a lot of talking. So go on, ask away. There's only silence. One question stands out in your mind, which you refrain from asking yet. If only one of you is to go free at first, who shall it be? Go on now, don't be shy. Who first? Questions. Why us? Why you indeed, madam. That I can explain. You've seen the sort you stand against as adversaries in the rights. What is it that they want, do you suppose? They want their freedom back, of course. They'll settle for it on the Commonwealth's own terms. They'll gain their freedom and some cushy new responsibilities. Perhaps then they'll have a hand in sending still more exiles here to join us. Think on it. The Commonwealth rose from the ashes of a fallen empire thanks to the efforts of the first exiles who escaped this place via the rights. It is the Commonwealth's first and proudest tradition to honor those who live to redeem their transgressions. They have a certain wisdom, do they not? But as for you, I have been looking for a certain set of dispositions for a good length of time. All I needed was for somebody appropriate to show up and to listen. So I planted my little eyes and ears throughout this land, whispering hints of this, absurd as it may sound, took someone with a certain faith and creativity to go for it. That someone proved to be Hedwin over there. He was tasked with seeking two trustworthy allies, an old buried wagon and a reader. He was invited to bring others for the ride, all different sorts. Gather enough help, and he and his friends can be free. Long story, but you know much of the rest. So then, why you? Because I've reason to believe you're not the sort to play right back into the Commonwealth's old hand. The rights, as you've seen, are quite exclusive. You are imposters in this little party. You could be the ones to break it up. Now then, more questions. Keep listening. Volfred's explanations are a lot to take in, though you feel compelled to absorb as much as what he is willing to tell you at this point. He prompts for further questions when Jordaria raises her voices again. Hold. You mistook my meaning. I understand your plan. Still I wish to know why us. Why are we among all others chosen for this liberation rite? Ah, I see. Well, that is simple really, madam. You are chosen. You are qualified, I should say, because as the expression goes, 'tis what the scribes ordain. Though in this case, the expression is quite literally true. When the 8 created the rites, each one of them anointed certain other exiles to participate on their behalf. Exiles who showed some promise of redemption. The triumvirates they formed have stood to the test of time, replenishing their numbers as their individuals move on or past. You've met them as they are today, the accusers, the withdrawn, and so on. The 8 scribes also formed a special group, against which all others would be judged, the group they called the Nightwings. You bear their books, wear their masks and raiments. You need but show up to the rites, you see. The others erstwhile jockey for position for a chance to take you on. Yeah, well, what if we don't? What if we don't show up? Then you would deny yourself a chance at freedom, and deny it also to your adversaries. Victory means nothing to a common right, then. Participation is all that matters? Not so, madam. Only the enlightened may regain their freedom. While failure can be an excellent teacher, the scribes do favor the victor. So you see, those who do not conduct the rites or do not prevail in them sufficiently, they may find themselves barred from the liberation rites. But these are technicalities. The Nightwings disbanded years ago. Since then, no one has gone free. Yet still the other triumvirates pressed on, with fleeting hope that one day you'd be back. It's been a heavy price to pay in all this. Now, if you'll excuse me, we'll talk again in some other time. Some murmur to themselves about all this as Volford takes his place. Others reconnoiter pathways leading up to the mountain and present you with some options. Okay. I think that's going to be it for this one. Thank you very much for joining, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.